Hi everyone, Alistair Davies here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. Today's video is how to train the trailer elbow to allow you to become a better player. So how to train the trailer elbow is the real theme of this video. And in doing it correctly, it's going to allow your shoulder to externally rotate correctly and then start the downswing the right way, and also allow you to get the club into a position where the hands are delayed behind the elbow, so we get that most powerful kind of laggy strike, late hit, to really control the club face through the golf ball and get that ball and turf contact. So training this trailer elbow does so many good things in the golf swing, and it is a move most of the best players in the world produce, or very close to producing, very much the same way we're going to do today. So if you are a new viewer, please consider following, subscribing, and also please chat during the videos we go along down below in the comments box. Tell me if you're enjoying the video, tell me what videos you'd like to see in the future. I do post 3 videos a week, and really I'm trying to get them all designed to lower your score, so making sure that the right subject is important to me. Keep watching to learn about training this trailer elbow. Okay, training the trailer elbow. It's a big part of what I like to see good players do, and players that need to improve do. What I commonly see with a lot of poorer golfers is in the downswing, this trailer elbow points out away from the golf ball like so. So this elbow gets into this kind of shape here, where the arm is kind of gone into over straightening mode before contact. Now the best players in the world, the trailer elbow will still be bent as the club gets into its kind of last parallel, or very close to its last parallel here. And what we'd like to see is the trailer elbow get to this stick before the trailer hand, and with the shaft still having some element of what we call radial deviation in the wrist. So we have the club kind of set back and set up. That is the ideal world. Now there's 2 ways of looking at it. Does the trailer elbow push the body to help it get out of the way? So then having the rotation in the body helps to retain the trailer elbow position, or does the body moving allow the trailer elbow to work? Well, for me, it's a little bit of chicken and egg. They both help each other, and you could have the focus on one or other to get the right results. What I'd ask you to do is to do some of these drills I'm going to show you in a second. And in producing these drills, if you feel it's more body orientated, that's what you would feel and try and operate. If you feel it's more arm orientated, that's what you would feel and operate. So what we're looking for, we've got this stick in place, but if I had my hand there, I'd be looking for my trailer elbow to hit my hand as a kind of drill. So we're punching the trailer elbow down to get that. Now when I do that successfully, this trail shoulder goes into what we would class as external rotation. The shaft shallows without me having to try it. Because if my elbow doesn't get there, you'll see the shaft doesn't do what I want it to do. So however I do it, if that elbow gets into that position, the shaft and shoulder change their shape. Now in just doing those one-handed practice swings like that, I can feel my trail shoulder working differently to what it would do normally. And I'm guilty of having the trail shoulder not in as much external rotation as I would want to, and I get the shaft a fraction steep in that transition. And I would like my trail elbow to be a little bit better in this pre-impact position, for sure. Because I'm steep, I'm a little bit flippy through the ball. So getting this trail elbow more organized will be definitely part of my practice plan. I just need to start practicing. So what I've set up here for you is an alignment rod out the ground set just behind the golf ball. If you look at it here, it's probably about 1 golf ball behind the golf ball. What I want you to do is make practice swings with the garden or the range, and try and get your forearm or elbow, depending on how well we've got this placed, to hit that before the trail hand, and trying to keep the shaft close to parallel to the ground. If it's slightly lower, that's fine. If it's slightly higher, that's fine. Obviously, it depends on your ability, in your wrist flexibility and things like that. Now, when I do that, I start to feel my body rotate out the way. I start to feel my pressure shift towards my lead side. I'm not necessarily feeling that my body, I'm feeling that more the trail side pushing. Now, if I go ahead and do it with my body, I get a pretty similar response. I think the trail hand isn't quite as good, but the elbow's pretty good. So when I'm focusing on the elbow and the hand relationship, for me, it probably gives me a better arm shape. Certainly on the golf course, I'd probably wanting to feel it a little bit more in my body because it's a bigger unit to move around, and it's a nicer thought thinking of just committing my body through with rotation and extension. But for a practice point of view, getting my low point later, getting my trail elbow better to allow me to shallow that shaft and use that shoulder correctly and create that kind of late hit and lag and that position we see, you know, all the best players kind of in. If I'm just thinking about my trail elbow to the stick, I'm punching it down, I'm pretty happy with the results I get. So what I would do is have the stick there for practice swings. I might then lower the angle a touch so it's not quite in the way. Try and mirror on top. And then when I go and hit golf balls, I'm going to try and do the same thing. Really happy with that ball flight. More penetrating than normal. Nice divot just after the golf ball. The ball flight had a little bit of cut to it as well. Again, my standard ball flight would be higher than that and more right to left. So for me, as someone that would have a fault of overdrawing the ball or hooking the ball, if you want to call it that, and sometimes I don't get enough divot, that for me felt really, really good. Again, I didn't hit it with full power, and when I go to hit it with full power, I probably wouldn't be as successful at achieving those two things, the ball flight and the divot. So I would build up. The key is to practice at the level where you fail. So if I failed hitting that, say, that went probably about 150 yards. So if I failed at that at 160 yards, I would try and practice hitting it at the power to go 160, which would be about 85–80% for me with this particular club. And if I could do it with full speed, full power, then great. But the idea would be for me, that would be my practice zone for say 20 golf balls. Then I would do some natural shots for about 5 or 10. Now the reason I do 20 doing the drill and 5 or 10 normal is because I want to do more doing it as I want to than what I currently do. Otherwise I'm not going to see much change. It's all about creating the change. So we're doing things to influence change. So more reps doing it the way we want to. And even on the golf course then, doing the practice swing, that might well be like so, and then going ahead and hitting the shot. So I'm giving myself the feels, I'm telling my brain what I wanted to do before I go and try and achieve it. That's really important from a learning point of view. And what we're trying to do is make sure you have no learning errors. If you have a performance error, that's absolutely fine. You can work on those. But if you learn and understand what you should do, the performance error should be about then trust and commitment, and maybe a little bit of reps to get used to it as well. But trust is a big thing too. So there you have it, training the trail elbow. Training as if you were throwing and skimming a stone across the water. Again, if you went to throw a ball, you'd always be in this kind of shape. You would never be in this kind of shape, which is what we see a lot of golfers do. Sometimes, again, that's conceptual because they're trying to get the ball up in the air and get the ball from a lie where they think, how do I get height on this? And when they first start, they get that kind of feeling of head down and scoopy wrists just to get that success. I'm more into getting that more punch and digging in the dirt feel if you're a beginner, to get you building up from a good positive strike and creating that more de-lofted and shaftly look through the ball rather than trying to help the ball up. That for me would be the journey I'd want you to go on rather than trying to get it up in the air.